Your cat may forget the small, everyday things, but certain moments leave marks they never let go of. Research shows that cats carry something very close to episodic memory, especially when they live through experiences that awaken deep emotion. These are the gestures that stay forever in your cat's life, shaping how they'll remember you even long after their whiskers have turned white. Number 1. Pay attention to where your hand lands on their face. Most people pet their cats in a way that isn't ideal. The hand usually goes straight to the top of the head or behind the ears, but there's one place that carries a far deeper emotional meaning, something close to 10 times more intense, and cats spend their entire lives hoping you'll finally notice it. It's the temporal gland, located between the eye and the ear, that soft, warm spot where the cheek meets the temple. When a mother cat cleans her kittens, she focuses exactly there. That single movement releases a wave of oxytocin that literally changes how the kitten responds to stress. And here's what's remarkable. According to researchers at Oregon State University, cats who are regularly petted in that region show cortisol levels around 40% lower throughout their lives. Not just in the moment, permanently. Specialists say only about 1 in every 20 cat caretakers ever discovers this point on their own. There are scent glands there that release pheromones when touched gently. It's a slow, soft, circular motion with just the fingertip. These pheromones create what researchers call a social odor memory, which becomes part of the cat's permanent emotional map. When you touch that spot, you're literally imprinting your presence into their nervous system. And this memory doesn't fade. It strengthens through a process called consolidation, where the brain turns meaningful experiences into permanent memories. Number 2. The everyday words they're waiting to hear. Your cat needs something that has nothing to do with food or play. Japanese researchers using functional brain scans discovered that cats who are spoken to often develop a thicker auditory cortex. The part of the brain that processes human speech literally grows, building new neural connections that weren't there before. But there's a serious side to this. Cats raised in silent homes show neurological patterns similar to cats with hearing loss. Their brains literally shrink from the lack of stimulation. Your cat needs you to narrate your life to them. Studies show they can distinguish somewhere around 30 to 40 human words, but they understand hundreds of tone patterns. And no, it's not baby talk. A high-pitched tone mimics the sound of distressed kittens, which actually raises their anxiety. They need a normal speaking voice, the same one you'd use with a friend. Tell them about the difficult meeting. Explain why you chose that specific can of food. Comment on the weather while you both stare out the window. And here's something surprising. Cats know when you're talking about them versus talking to them. They read emotional states straight from the rhythm of your voice. In multi-cat homes where there's very little human conversation, many develop what specialists call selective mutism. They simply stop meowing. They've learned that communication doesn't create connection. Number 3. What really happens between 5 and 7 in the morning? Your cat performs a morning ritual that you probably overlook every single day. Between 5 and 7 a.m., cats carry out what's called a social check. They need to confirm the group is still intact. In the wild, this meant making sure everyone survived the night. Researchers at the University of Georgia observed something remarkable. The way you respond in the first 10 seconds sets the cat's emotional state for the rest of the day. Cats who get a morning acknowledgement, even something as small as a few words, a gentle touch, or a slow blink, behave completely differently over the next 16 hours. They eat about 30% more throughout the day. They play twice as much. They sleep better, dropping into deep sleep faster. But cats who are ignored in this moment increase their hiding, lose appetite, and show something painful. After roughly 12 days of being ignored in these morning encounters, they stop trying altogether. The neural pathway behind this bonding behavior begins to be pruned, a process called synaptic elimination. The cat's brain literally stops expecting connection. The acknowledgement doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't need to get up. A quiet good morning, a hand extended, or simply opening your eyes and looking at them is enough. These tiny gestures switch on their attachment system for the entire day. Number 4. The signal almost everyone misses. Every cat has a limit to how much petting they can take, and most people cross it without realizing, tipping the cat into emotional overload. The Cornell Feline Health Center identified what they call the petting threshold, the point where pleasure flips into overstimulation. The signs include a twitching tail, rippling skin, ears leaning back, shifting body weight, or dilated pupils. This isn't a mood swing. It's their nervous system signaling that it can't process any more touch, without triggering a stress response. The receptors in the skin become overloaded and start firing alert signals to the brain. When you respect these signs and stop immediately, something deep happens inside the cat. They release GABA, a neurotransmitter that strengthens trust pathways. They learn that you're safe precisely because you know when to stop. This builds something called predictive comfort. Their nervous system starts preparing to feel safe the moment you approach. But when you ignore the signals, you fire up the sympathetic nervous system, the same one behind fight-or-flight responses to predators. Some cats endure this for years, quietly building a stress debt that eventually surfaces as aggression, withdrawal, or stress-related illness. Cats keep a detailed memory of every boundary respected or violated. These memories don't disappear. They form the safety map they hold of you. Some cats spend their whole lives mapping humans as dangerous, never truly able to relax. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, so every time I post something new, you'll be the first to know. Thank you. Number 5. The way you leave the house changes everything. You're probably traumatizing your cat every single time you walk out the door. Research from the University of Lincoln shows that about 20 minutes before you leave, the cat slips into pre-departure anxiety. They recognize your routine, picking up your keys, putting on your shoes, grabbing your bag. Their heart rate climbs by around 30%. Stress hormones flood the body. Pupils dilate to the maximum. Most people either ignore the cat completely in that moment or make a long, emotional goodbye, which only makes it worse. Both behaviors leave lasting psychological damage. Cats need a departure ritual, a calm, consistent pattern that signals "I will return." Specialists recommend something very specific. A phrase always said in the same tone, a treat always left in the same spot, or a toy that appears only at those moments. Through repetition, this builds anticipatory safety in the hippocampus. Cats with established departure rituals show 50% less destructive behavior when alone. They keep eating normally. They don't develop those common stress-related urinary infections. Scans show the amygdala, the fear center, stays calm during your absence. Without this ritual, cats spend hours on high alert, sitting near the door, muscles tense, unable to relax, waiting for a return they can't predict. And constant stress weakens the immune system, shortens life expectancy, and changes their personality. Number 6. The silent watch they need, and almost never receive. When cats are sick, they need something many people get completely wrong. A sick cat doesn't only need medical care. They need what researchers call social proximity without interaction. This comes straight from their wild ancestors. A wounded cat would stay where others could see them, but without physical contact, recovering in safety. Researchers at the University of California, Davis found that cats who receive this kind of presence recover significantly faster. Immune markers improve around 25% faster. White blood cell counts stabilize sooner. Appetite returns days earlier. But what does this proper presence actually look like? It means being in the same room, doing something calm, reading, or working at the computer. It's not checking on them constantly, and definitely not forcing affection. Just being there. The silent presence of the person they're bonded to releases immunoglobulin A, an antibody that fights infection. Your quiet company strengthens their immune system through psychoneuroimmunology. Leaving a sick cat alone doesn't help them rest. Isolation triggers abandonment stress, which suppresses the immune system and can extend the illness by up to 40%. A cat doesn't fall seriously ill many times in their life. These moments become core memories, stored in the limbic system, where emotional experiences stay forever. Number 7. The words they wait their entire life to hear. Cats know when they're dying. Research at the Veterinary Hospital of Colorado State University confirms that cats show clear behavioral changes weeks before the end. But they're waiting for something specific from you. Cats have a biological instinct to hide weakness. It protected them from predators in the wild. But indoors, that same instinct becomes suffering. They want to rest, but feel they can't, because they believe it might emotionally hurt you. Veterinarians who specialize in end-of-life care notice that cats whose caretakers verbally acknowledge what's happening show reduced cortisol levels. Purring increases. They seek more closeness. They eat better. And in a certain way, they seem at peace. They need to hear that everything is all right, that you know they don't have to pretend anymore, that they were good, that they are loved, and that when they're ready, they're allowed to go. This doesn't mean giving up on treatment. It means creating an emotional space where death isn't denied, but welcomed with gentleness. Your cat will only die once. The way you guide that moment becomes their final memory, recorded until their very last moment of consciousness. Did you know these 7 things? Tell me in the comments if you notice any of these behaviors in your own cats. I read every single one. And now, did you know there are 20 things your cat secretly loves, but you've probably never noticed? In the video on your screen, I cover exactly that. Click it, and keep exploring the amazing world of cats with me.